Good day, everybody. It's Erin Delia from Wanderlust Healing with our Mystical Alliance Meetup crew hosting class today. We're talking about clarity and intention and focus today. And this happens to be one of my favorite things to talk about, and I cannot wait to get into it. And I'm excited to dig right in. So let's get down to clarity and focus and teaching one of my favorite styles of meditation. In my path, there were a lot of things that I have discovered in order to release the intensity, the energy, the emotion, the thoughts into being able to be balanced in the middle, having this clarity of myself, of the environment around me, of being real with my reality inside and what was happening. And all of those ended up having specific trainings or things that I was exploring in order to learn that. So I've become a Reiki master. I learned how to deal with the energy. I learned how to be consciously aware of the movement of energy, not just my energy either, like other energy around me. And I started doing deeper transcendental meditations, and I realized I hit a plateau at some point where I just couldn't go any further. And that was because I was having a really big disconnect in focus and being able to be really clear. Now, there are various forms of clarity that I have discovered. There's mental clarity, there's emotional clarity, there's physical clarity, there's clarity in the path that we would like forward, and there's clarity of, the reality of something that we've experienced. And all of them coalesce into the ability to let go and let it be. And we all have different words for that. If you're a religious person and you practice a particular religion, they center around a lot about, being in the middle, following, the love of God, following, your particular prophet that you might enjoy, being raised Roman Catholic, but having studied other forms as well. You could say it's Jesus. You could say it was the words of Muhammad. Like, you can pick and choose the words. Please don't have an allergic reaction to the words I'm choosing to use today. But with that said, I realized that a lot of those texts, a lot of those practices ask a lot for prayer. And I love prayer. And I love when you do your rosaries, or you do your mantras, or you use your words, or you use your practices. But the thing that I found missing in those practices was that it wasn't actually connecting all of my bodies. It wasn't connecting my physical body. It wasn't connecting my emotional body. It wasn't connecting my mental body. It wasn't allowing soul to come in, spirit to come in, and kind of coalesce in one clarity, pivotal moments for me. And so I set out on a path to find this. And before I became a breathwork teacher, as I'm doing now, I was a student. And what I found was the teachings of Siddhartha Buddha. And this has a lot to do with why Siddhartha Buddha was considered an enlightened being in his path on our planet, and not necessarily just the fundamentals of Buddhism. It's more the practice, and it's called Vipassana. If you are interested in this, there are Vipassana centers all over the world that you can apply to go to and study this and sit for your first 10 days, 100 hours. I know that sounds like a lot, but let me tell you it's not. It goes by very quick. To learn, to refine and master this particular style of meditation, which I'm going to teach you today. There are so many forms of clarity through breath work that you can teach and explore, and I will be continuing to explore other variations of it, but being that this is my absolute favorite, I'm going to teach this one today. The base of Vipassana is that one day Siddhartha Buddha sat down under the Bodhi tree, quite frustrated at the fact that he was not able to find a way to end the suffering of the people in the community around him. He gave up his position as a royal. He became a monk. He did all the monk things all throughout the India, Asia area at that time in the world. And none of them worked for him. None of them taught him the art of letting go. And that's a pivotal thing, because when we let go, we're no longer, in his words, recreating the chains of karma. In other words, we're no longer committing ourselves to the same behaviors. We're no longer committing ourselves to the same practices and beliefs. We are stopping. We're having pivotal moments of clarity and focus that allow us to create balance through the power of choice, through what we choose to listen to in our mind and ego, through how we choose to feel and how long we allow ourselves to feel, and physically what sensations we are experiencing as a result of kind of that bubble of topics. And what he found after sitting under the Bodhi tree for, the story says for days, not moving and in a silent meditation, he learned that he could break these chains by watching and focusing on his breath and the sensations physically of his breath at a natural cadence. So not anything transformational, not anything super intense, but in that stillness, the chaos rose. And that chaos was, what am I physically feeling? What am I emotionally experiencing? What am I mentally going off on? And how does that actually work? This is how my teacher explained it to me, and I found it pivotal. I hope that you do too. Right now, you can hear the music that I'm playing in the background. You can hear all the stuff that's going around you in your environment. But what you're focused on is what I am saying. What I am saying is a representation of breath. By choosing to let your mind or your emotions or your body come back to feeling and tuning into these sensations of breath that we're going to discover today, that you are walking away from that chatter, that music, that participation in our egoic presence. Even if you feel yourself having a more spiritual conversation, for the intense purposes of this, we are even refining away from that. We are walking away. We are learning a practice of faith and belief that is internal to each of us by saying something like, I understand this is important, but I have faith that it will come back to me in the moments that it is appropriate for me to experience or to participate in that conversation. The same thing can come up emotionally and physically. Physically, it is a whirlwind of sensations that often remind me of the movie out there. It's a young adult movie where you have all these little personalities that are represented by these cartoon characters, and they like sit in your mind and they sit on your shoulder, and they're constantly vying for your attention. And they'll use things like, I've got an itch, I've got a scratch, I'm having a sinus problem, I'm having a ear problem, I'm having a digestive problem, I'm having, cramps in my legs. And those things tend to pull you away from the balanced clarity center and into reactivity, into maintaining a distraction from the clarity point. And so your emotions are the same. You could feel lust, you could feel sadness, you could feel joy, right? You could feel unconditional love. And all of those things, some of them are really beautiful and some of them are not. But the point is that the really beautiful ones can leave you in rosy colored glasses if you're not aware. And the really negative kind of things, or the less desirable things, leave you in the focus of fear, potentially anger. I talk about this in the emotional wheel, which will be another class coming forward again. And what that does is that you're always on one side or the other. You're not in the middle. And so that way you're always making choices that have repercussions based on, I made them in rosy colored glasses, maybe on a whim, maybe with the best intentions, right? We've all said that, but maybe it just wasn't checking in with the reality of what those best intentions are for myself. How does that honor me? How does that fill my container with light and love or space and peace versus I'm giving of myself all the time? And then on the negative side, doing it defensively, doing it as a pessimist, doing it with those particular thoughts, feelings, and guises also means that I'm making choices defensively. I'm not looking at the reality of possibility. I'm not, I'm doing it looking at the worst of people around me and the worst of relationships around me. And so you can kind of see what Siddhartha Buddha was talking about is that if you stay with the rosy colored glasses, or you stay with the anger, if you stay with the I love, or you stay with the I hate, you're always making decisions that are causing your life to swing like a pendulum in either direction instead of asking it to sit in the middle. So in this breath work that we're going to do today, which is a blended breath work and meditation, We are going to sit in silent, non-moving, meditative state for 20 minutes. And that sounds like a lot, but it's not. Part of what we're going to do is we're going to spend the first few minutes tuning into the sensations of breath. You might not feel them all, and you're not supposed to. And every day you could feel a different sensation. So do leave yourself open to just the process of experiencing the sensation as I teach it, so that you can dial in later on when it makes the best for you. The second thing is that we're going to use our intention to kind of scan the body irregularly. I'll go through the first one or two with you, and then you can do it as you feel called to do it when we're sitting for our 20 minutes. And then that will help you start to connect and feel and allow the subtler sensations that we feel physically to come up, because they're getting a little bit of our intention. When you feel something or don't feel something, which can be just as weird, just acknowledge it. Just be like, okay, internally to thyself, say, I acknowledge you, experience you, and I'm moving on. We don't need to dive into why we're experiencing that feeling. If it feels like a gas bubble going up or down, you don't actually have to participate. Your body will do it on its own. Do you have faith that you can do it on your own, that it will take care of itself and not leave you in blistering pain, right? There's a lot in that to unpack. When I first did it, I had to sit through the worst leg cramps ever because my anger was manifested in my legs. It was deterring my circulation and my muscle use. I had a lot of pain going on in that at that point in my life. And I sat through, not moving as best as I could, leg cramps for like an hour on and off. And what it really is as the bodies, whatever one, they're given space to be acknowledged in that kind of silent, non-moving meditative state, the energy starts to flow out and out of your body and out of your cells and out of your frequency of your emotions and out of the chatter of your mind, and it gets really, really, really loud. Kind of like a screaming toddler when you put them in a corner to sit and like chill for a minute, and they get really, really loud and really, really loud, and they're trying to get your attention. And then all of a sudden you just say, okay, I'm aware of you. I'm going to come back to my breath. I'm just going to choose my breath until that energy has nowhere else. There's no more other energy behind it, and it disappears. And it just like disappear, like it doesn't ever come back. But at that intensity level, unless you let it build up again, it does not. That causes an energetic frequency release throughout all of your bodies and allows healing to come in. And that's really where we start developing a level of clarity and focus that allows you to be a more consciously aware, healthy, and present human being in our world. So it is hard. You will wiggle at some point. You will have some type of gastric release at some point. It will come on its own. Every time you sit and do this style of meditation, it changes every day. I do this meditation every single day. Some days I do it for 2 hours, which, by the way, took years of training to do. Sometimes I only have the space for 5 minutes. If you have a lot of chatter, whatever your chatter may be, it is that you are more determined to feel the sensation of a breath, of any part of your breath, than you are experiencing the chatter. Even if you only come back for 5 seconds and then you find yourself talking again in your head, you're replaying a situation, you're feeling an emotion, you're giving in, you're scratching something, you're wiggling your toes. I don't care how many times you choose in our 20 minutes to experience a chatter and come back to your breath, because every time you stop yourself and you make that conscious decision to come back to your breath, that's you winning. That's you building up strength and building up intensity to be stronger than the frustration and the chatter and the this and the that. And if you happen to be one of those people that goes into positivity land and the rosy colored glasses, I ask you to step away from it, because it is equally as unhealthy to sit in all the time and make those decisions from all the time than to be balanced in the self. So we will experience this. I also ask you to not just experience this in the safety of a quiet space. I ask you to experience this everywhere you go, in your car, in a parking lot, in the mall, in the coffee shop. Sit there for 5 to 10 minutes, do a silent, non-moving meditation, and be aware, how do the sounds of your environment impact you? Is there a trigger somewhere where you're physically, you feel one thing and then all of a sudden you have an instant mindset and then you're in a certain mood set? These three particular bodies play off each other very directly, and they do it in such a way that we didn't really understand we were doing as we were growing up, or as we are being choose to be perceived in our environment. And therefore it robs us of the present moment where we are the most empowered, potent versions of ourselves. Sounds really big. It's probably the easiest hard thing I'm going to ask you to do in all of these classes. So I am also going to be using my bell today to signify the end of our meditation, just so you can kind of hear it a little bit. Ironically, this bell was given to me in the early 2000s when I graduated meditation or massage school, and I didn't realize it until almost a decade later that it is part of the Buddhist practice and that I was predestined to learn this. So I love when kind of universe comes together in that way and helps us learn and grow. With all of that said, go ahead and find a seated or laying position, whatever. If you're more experienced in this style of meditation and breath work, please feel free to lie down, but do not fall asleep. If you cannot sit like this for very long, sit in a regular chair with your feet flat on the ground, hands just comfortable on your thighs. If you are sitting on the floor, please do not be ultra comfortable. The goal for this particular style of meditation is to experience the sensations, is to practice coming back to our breath and our focus. In that way, we don't want to make it super comfortable that our body the sensations are so quiet we can't hear them. So go ahead and take a few moments while I get us ready for class today. Alrighty. As we get ready for this practice today, the last thing I also want to mention is, if you feel fear, do you have faith in yourself that your fears are temporary? There may be part of your body, part of your DNA programming, but they are temporary. You are still here. You are sitting here. You are breathing with me, and we are present. I know that if you have some contraindications like anxiety, you have breathing issues, you might be pregnant, whatever they may be, you can always take the time to just move. You do not have to stay non-moving. But I do ask you to take a few seconds, every time you take a few seconds, to challenge yourself to experience, acknowledge a fear feeling, like someone's walking into your space, like there's some type of impending something coming. The more you choose to experience, acknowledge it, and come back to your breath, the more that particular feeling will dissipate after it hits a peak. And the goal is, how long can you sit in your peak? Because in our reality, we know we're safe. We are safe right here. We're safe most of the time. But the feelings inside of us need to be released, because maybe they're built up from a period where we didn't release them in the first place. All right, let's meditate. Go ahead and get comfortable, feet flat on the ground, hands in our lap. Get the last of your wiggles and giggles out, because we're going to do a silent, non-moving meditation. So go ahead and close your eyes and start breathing in and out at a natural rhythm through your nose and out through the nose. Notice if you're breathing through your chest or through the diaphragm. And as we begin class, I'm going to ask you to take a nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the nose. One more. In through the nose and out through the nose. Coming back to your natural cadence. As you breathe, just at your natural rhythm for right now, I want you to see if you can focus on feeling these sensations. That as the air is coming in through the nostrils, that it is slightly cool, that it is brushing through the back of your throat, down into the lungs or diaphragm area, and how your chest and diaphragm are kind of expanding a little bit. And then as you exhale, feeling your chest fall ever so slightly, feeling as the moist air comes up past your throat, and then as it comes back out the nostrils, it is warm. Take a few moments to see if on these next few breaths, what part of these sensations do you become in tune with the most? Do one more set of deep breathing just to really dial in these sensations. And as we do the deep breathing, I do want you to really focus in on and identify, where does it feel like? What is the sensation? What is the temperature? What is the thought? What is the emotion? Whatever it is. Taking a deep inhalation in through the nose, feeling that air wherever you feel it, and exhaling out through the nose. Where do you feel it? One more time. And exhale. Coming back to your natural cadence. Take a few minutes now as we meditate and as we breathe to come into stillness. Just breathing in and out through the nose, making the determination right now to not move, but to just breathe. As we breathe, keeping it at your natural rhythm, I just want you to take your intention and put it at the top of your head. Allow it to flow down across the skull to the forehead. And we're not changing anything as we do this. We're just observing. Feel your forehead, your eyes, your cheeks, your nose, your mouth, your chin. What is the back of your head? The sides of your head, your ears, the center of your head. Coming down into the neck, into the throat, the spine, the base of the neck, coming into the shoulders. Feeling your arms, coming towards your elbows. Your forearms, letting your consciousness just go down, feeling your wrists, palms of your hands all the way out to the tips of your fingers. Coming back up to the shoulders, come down into the chest, feeling that upper back area, your shoulder blades. Coming into the chest, feeling your lungs, your pectoral muscles. Feeling your heart, your spine. Coming down into the upper abdominal area. Feeling your stomach. Feeling the center of your spine, that kind of middle area of your back coming down. Feeling all the space in your abdomen around your navel. As you're coming down into the lower body cavity area, the base of your spine, the tip of your tailbone. Even feeling your genital areas, feeling all of the muscles down there. Coming into the hips, feeling the glutes, feeling your thighs, inner thighs, hamstrings, going all the way down that part of your leg, coming into your knees. As we come down into the calves and shins, just awareness. We're not asking to do anything, we're not releasing anything, we're just being aware. Come down into the ankles, into your heels, the insteps of your feet, all the way to your toes. Now come back to the sensations of your breath. If you happen to feel a very intense physical sensation that is trying to steal your attention, continue to go back and forth from that every time it pulls you away to your breath. Feeling the strongest sensation you can dial your consciousness into. And then we're going to reverse this process and come up from our toes all the way back to the crown of our head. So bringing your attention to the tips of your toes, coming back up to the insteps of your feet, top of your feet, your heels, your ankles, coming up to your calves and shins, all the way to your knees. Again, just observing. What do your thighs feel like? Inner thighs, hamstrings, outer thighs, glutes, pelvic floor, the base of your abdomen, coming up through the tailbone, coming up through the abdominal area, the center spine, the center of your back, through your navel area. Just feeling and experiencing, coming up through the stomach, coming up through the rib cage, up through the center of the back, the spine. Feeling your stomach, feeling your lungs, now your heart, your pectoral area, feeling your shoulder blades coming up, down from the fingertips, coming up through the fingers and the hands, through your wrists, feeling your forearms, elbows, upper arm areas, all the way to the shoulders, the tops of the shoulders meeting the top of your back and chest area, coming up from the base of the neck, through the neck, feeling that throat. You might feel your breath at this place. Coming up the neck, the spine of the neck, to the base of the skull. Coming up the back of the skull, up the sides of your ears, from your chin, your lips, cheeks, nose, eyes, forehead, all the way till you can come up and feel the top of your head. Again, whatever you might have experienced, come back to the sensations of breath. We're not rationalizing, we're not logicking, we're not having conversations. We are just practicing awareness and focusing on just your breath. We're going to continue doing this for the rest of our class. You can scan the body as in depth or as lightly as you would like, so long as you bring your intention back to the breath. okay if you get distracted. It's okay if you participated in something. Give yourself some grace. The practice is to come back to the breath and to stay there for as long as you can. exhalation. Back into the body. Take a moment to find peace within whatever we discovered about ourselves today. If you happen to be feeling some pains or some sensations, you can come back to this practice whenever you want. You can sit for as long as you want. I do recommend you put a timer on like I just did in order to give yourself a known stopping point in response to it. But allow yourself to start assimilating whether you do journaling after the. What did we experience today? What did we learn? What did we feel? How did we grow? It's important that we take these steps to assimilate, to internalize, to recognize and cultivate our awareness as we go through these processes. And when you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes and let the environment come back into reality. And thank you so much for participating today. I really hope that you find the determination to master this style of clarity and focus through breathwork and meditation. It is one of the most important steps in this sacred path when we can release the need to control and understand stimuli and just have faith in ourselves and our path forward and what we're doing and how we're doing it, so that we can start becoming aware of some of the other guidance that might come in and when it comes in and what it feels like, and understanding if it's the best for us or maybe it's not the right option for us in that moment. So my friends, I hope that you take the time as well, that if you're really struggling with this, please reach out. The link is in my YouTube channel. It's on my website. You can book a free call with me at any point to learn more, to go deeper, because that's what this is about. That's what all of my classes are here for, is to help us as a community through reaching you individually to be better, to be stronger, and to be more consciously aware. With that also said, I do have more breathworks coming, and we're going to move right into another mystical form right after that in alignment with my classwork, and I can't wait to bring it forward. So please subscribe to my channel so that you know when things are coming out. If you did truly enjoy our practice today, if you would like this video so that others in the YouTube world will understand that you do enjoy it, and if you would, the greatest gratitude I could ask of you would be to share this video with your communities to help others understand this path as we grow together. So from now until then, so much light, so much love. Have a great day.